And we should all guys remember from Timperley. Timcast. Go follow guys, here we go. Let's listen.
The Palisades wildfire was devastating. People's homes were destroyed. This area of California is forever changed. There are concerns now the land will be appropriated for low-income housing, thus displacing the individuals who live there. But we had heard over and over again from many liberals that this was climate change. It proved it. Apparently now it was arson, and the suspect is an anti-Trump climate activist. And many are arguing this person intentionally set the fire so they could push this fake narrative about climate change. This is how psychotic these people are. They need to be right. So they make the problems they claim to fight, because being right and being a part of their cult is more important than living a good life. This is where we are. I think people need to recognize the current state of affairs in this country. Cultural degradation, political hyperpolarization, and psychotic death cults. Welcome to modern America. The Post-Millennial says Palisades fire arson suspect is anti-Trump climate activist. He posted memes mocking Trump supporters linked to a Harris-Biden fundraiser and frequently shared headlines about climate change and veganism. A Florida man accused of setting the massive Palisades fire in Los Angeles had a long trail of anti-Trump and climate change posts on social media where he blamed global warming for wildfires and mocked conservatives. Jonathan Rinderknecht, 29, is accused of starting the blaze on January 1st, allegedly hiking into the hills above L.A. to ignite a brush fire. Prosecutors say the flames weren't fully extinguished and reignited 6 days later, destroying more than 7,000 homes and businesses, killing 12 people, and scorching 24,000 acres across the region, the New York Post reports. Damages are estimated at $150 billion. Authorities allege Rinderknecht recorded video of the fire, called police to report it, and later returned to watch firefighters battle the flames. He reportedly moved back to Florida soon after the incident. Now, what's fascinating is many people predicted this. There were individuals people had called out for starting fires and then filming them. And we were all wondering, why are they doing this? Because they want to watch the world burn. On Facebook, Rinderknecht regularly shared political and environmental content, posted memes mocking Trump supporters, linked to a Harris-Biden fundraiser, and frequently shared headlines about climate change and veganism. One article he posted, quote, climate change will force a new American migration, from ProPublica showed wildfires tearing through a California neighborhood. Other posts included titles, Senator Kamala Harris says meat is destroying the planet, and Antarctica's ice shelves have lost millions of metric tons of ice. Prosecutors say he also created AI-generated images depicting burning cities and panicked crowds fleeing destruction. In one of the few photos he shared of himself, Rinderknecht appeared with his face painted like a skull, mouth open, and covered in blood. This is the story from the New York Post. Alleged Palisades firebug posted anti-Trump screeds and blamed wildfires on climate change. Take a look at this. Let's see if we can, I don't know if there's any audio on this one.
A former Pacific Palisades resident for allegedly sparking one of the most destructive wildfires in LA's history, killing 12 and causing more than $150 billion worth of damage.
Wow.
29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht, also known as Jonathan Rinder or John Rinder, was taken into custody in Melbourne, Florida on October 8th. He's charged with maliciously setting a fire that killed residents and destroyed more than 6,000 homes in Pacific Palisades. Investigators say it all began just after midnight on New Year's Day 2025. That night, Rinderknecht was working as an Uber driver and appeared to be agitated and angry, according to witnesses. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, he drove towards Skull Rock Trailhead, parked his car, and began walking on a trail after trying to contact a former friend. Once on the trail, Rinderknecht allegedly filmed the area on his phone and listened to a rap song by the French artist Jossman, whose music video shows things being set on fire, according to the criminal complaint. The suspect had watched the same music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the fire, according to court papers. Minutes later, sensors detected flames, which would be the start of the Lockman fire. Firefighters quickly contained it, but the blaze smoldered underground for days.
Wow.
It wasn't until January 7th, almost a week later, that heavy winds caused the underground fire to spread above ground, leading to what ultimately would become the catastrophic Palisades fire. During the 5 minutes after lighting the fire, Rinderknecht called 911 several times, but wasn't able to get through because he was out of cell phone range. He eventually was able to get through to authorities and report the fire after driving to the bottom of the hill. As he was on the phone to dispatchers, he asked ChatGPT, "Are you at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes?" Rinderknecht initially fled the scene of the crime in his car, but later decided to return to film firefighters battling the flames. The videos were among a trove of evidence discovered on his phone in the aftermath, authorities said. Months before the blaze in July, Rinderknecht had ChatGPT generate a grim, dystopian image of a burning city. In the ChatGPT prompt, he requested a dystopian painting divided into distinct parts that blend together seamlessly. On the far left, there is a burning forest. Next to it, a crowd of people running away from the fire, leading to the middle, the complaint said. Rinderknecht allegedly lied about being at the bottom of the trail, but later described the fire's origin in detail, information only someone who witnessed it would know, according to the complaint. He was finally arrested in Florida on Tuesday and will now be transferred back to California to stand trial. If convicted, Rinderknecht faces 5 to 20 years in federal prison. This arrest marks a long-awaited step towards justice for those who lost lives, homes, and belongings in the Palisades fire.
Wow, yo, that's crazy. Did they have those pictures? Look at this. This is the mocking. He posted on Facebook mocking Trump supporters, pushing people to become vegans. Look at this. He even posted. Wow, man. He had multiple posts about it. That ChatGPT graphic, that's crazy. This makes it sound like it's premeditated and intentional. It's pretty wild because the way they tell the story in this video, where they're saying that he dropped a friend off, couldn't get in contact with them, is watching a music video. He was out of cell phone range, but he had data, so he was able to watch these videos. Yo, I want to jump to that graphic that he made that they were showing. This is crazy. Where's that at? Where's that silly? There we go. Look at this. It's an image, and I don't know why they made it so small. On the left side, the city is burning. On the right side, it's not. Now, some might say coincidence. I think it all paints a picture of who this guy is. I mean, you're going to go to a jury and you're going to say, he went up there, he lit a fire, he lied about it, he had been thinking about it. I think it shows criminal intent. I think, they point out, he asked ChatGPT, can you get in trouble if a fire starts because of your cigarettes? The idea there, I don't believe him for a second. I think this guy is a climate change activist. He wants it to be true. He's telling people, listen to me, but they won't listen. Why won't they listen? Because they need to learn a lesson. Do you guys remember for a New American Century? You remember this one? Where just before 9/11, they wrote that there needs to be a new Pearl Harbor to unite America or something like this. It's often cited as a reason why, or I should say it is a principal reason why many conspiracy theorists don't believe the official account of 9/11. I'm not saying the official account is wrong or anything like that. I certainly don't think the government's telling us the truth, because why would they, right? What I see here, though, is a guy who engaged in a false flag, as it were. He decided he would start this fire so that people would learn a lesson. A self-fulfilling prophecy. I think the reason for typing into ChatGPT about the cigarettes is because he wants to create reasonable doubt. It was just a cigarette. I swear, I didn't mean to do it. I flicked a cigarette. I called it in. Nah. When you look at the underlying political ideologies, when you take a look at how Antifa behaves, when you take a look at, right now, we got a big story, right? In Portland. They're all dressed up like animals, unicorns, and they bought these special costumes. Because what happened was they were rioting outside the ICE facility. People started to ask questions about what was going on. So they show up dressed like animals to say, we're just peaceful protesters dressed like animals being abused by the evil police. It is a propaganda manipulation game that they do.
Oh, we didn't organize it.
And then, whether it was or wasn't, fine. The left came out and claimed over and over that this fire was climate change. That, this is what happens unless you give in to our communist political philosophy. The cities will burn. Every time there's a storm, Every time, AOC, excuse me, I got a sneeze coming on. AOC had an apartment, and like tornado sirens came on in DC, and she's like, this is climate change. And it's like, no, it's sometimes bad weather. Sometimes rain happens. And these people will act like it's going to be climate change every single time. This is why, my friends, I am deeply concerned about the future. It's not just about, look, if you want to argue this guy didn't really mean to start the fire, we don't know for sure, fine. By all means. We don't know for sure. Palisades firebug, that's what they call them. If you want to make the argument, we don't know for sure, by all means. But take a look at how the left responded to it by saying it definitively proved their moral worldview and why we must have the policies they want, despite the fact the policies wouldn't change any of this. Sometimes in California, it gets dry, there's no rain, and this is what you get. But they will use any and everything to push their narrative. Our culture is broken. We do not have a unified American society anymore. We have two distinct worldviews. One that believes they can do whatever they want to get what they want. And then there's the Constitutional Republic of America that wants to be left alone and just live their lives. I don't know how we pull out of this one. This is scary stuff. I'm going to leave it there. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. We got more coming up. And we will see you all in the next segment. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast.
There you go, guys. Go follow. I forgot to say, this is California. But just let them out. Just show around the world. Like the boop, boop, boop. Let them out. Alright, go follow, guys. Go follow Tim Pulley.